Hi, folks. Welcome to the Basement Show. I'm Ryan Monahan, and this is Tara.
Tara.
Yeah. Oh, that's you. How you doing?
Adequate.
Nice. We love Adequate. Happy 4th of July weekend to everybody. Hope you have safe and happy celebrations. So how was your morning? Mine was pretty thunderous.
Thunderous.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was fun. The storm woke up my dog.
Yeah.
She was less than pleased with the weather.
Daisy don't do thunderstorms.
Daisy don't
do nothing, especially thunderstorms.
Yeah,
but before
she was
we
not
get
happy.
further into that, let me backpedal already. That's how bad we suck. So, welcome to the Basement Show again, and this is the only show that we know of that's filmed in a basement. So slide on down the bulkhead with us. And we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks. So we're going to be uploading twice a month to give you more mediocre, flat content that you can enjoy in the privacy of your own whatever it is. So that's going to be twice a month. And it's going to be probably, between 40 to 45 minutes probably? Something like that. We'll do our best. You're going to get what you get, and you don't get upset because we all know if it's not flowing, it's going. See ya.
So you have we have the YouTube version.
Yes,
and
we
then
do.
There's also an audio version,
The podcast.
which is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You can just take us more places.
Right. Pocket.
You
Fun
can listen in the
size.
shower if you wanted to.
Oh, I love it. I would love. Well, actually, that's a bit egotistical, but I would do that like one time. Listen to my own podcast,
Listen to yourself in the shower.
or sure in the shower. I'd be like, I can't stand myself. Just wash your ass.
I'm
okay?
soapy but indifferent.
Indifferent. Soapy but indifferent. I love that. That's awesome. That's a good way to start a show. I think they can feel the quality starting to rub off on them. They're like, oh, yeah, see, 2 weeks away. They get an extra nap here and there. Now they're really fresh. Yeah, no.
Fresh.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, I got rocked out of bed this morning because of that thunderstorm. Big flash of lightning, and then that rumble of thunder shook the house so bad, and I literally flopped out of bed. Like, it pushed me out of bed. And I hit the floor. Then my first thought is, I got to get Ma. So I'm flying down the hallway. Mommy, she's standing in the doorway.
Mommy.
She's like, what the hell is going on? I was like, this is bad. And it was really bad. I got a little scared.
Well, my dog is hard of hearing, and she heard it.
She heard it. She probably felt it first.
Here's the thing, right? So she comes in the bedroom, and she does this thing where, like, it's almost like she's stomping her feet, where she's like, and her little paws are going. And I heard her, but it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I went, yeah, I don't want to get up. So I waited for her to wake up Jay.
Wake up my husband. He'll do it.
And he got up, and because she was scared, so she had to go out and go to the bathroom.
Right.
Which is what we all do when we're frightened, really.
Exactly.
And
I'm surprised I didn't shit my bed. Anyways, moving on.
oh, such a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? News? We got news?
A
A little bit?
I have a little bit of local news.
You do? Okay, let's do local news, because that's fun.
It's relevant.
Okay, relevant.
To the current weekend.
Yeah, and I gotta say, thank you. I know we're in the basement, but being able to be on a show where you feel like you're on a fancy front porch.
I know.
This is beautiful.
The lesson that Ryan has learned today is that don't wear a green shirt in front of a green screen.
Nope. Kermit the Frog here. I was in a rush this morning, and I wanted a t-shirt that was wrinkled and also fit extra snugly around the nipple area. So this was my only choice. And yeah. So as soon as I got here, I've already ruined the show. So thanks for tuning in.
No, it's just the bunting is very
Right,
it looks like you're wrapped in bunting.
I would. There's nothing more that I love on a Saturday morning in someone's basement, preferably yours, because I don't think the show would go off very well if you and I were in a different basement. especially if it was like a basement from the movie Saw or something like that.
Oh, I'm not hanging out in that.
No. But anyway, I learned what bunting is today, and it's not just about baseball, folks. It's this 3 flagged thing across the front of this porch, and that I would gladly drape around my delicious body. Moving on.
Yes.
What do you got?
So local news, 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
So police seize illegal fireworks on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of last week.
Yep.
The state police stopped several vehicles that were crossing over the border into Massachusetts because fireworks are illegal in Massachusetts.
Yes, they are.
There are 4 states that fireworks are illegal: Massachusetts, Delaware, New York, and New Jersey.
See?
Right.
4.
So what a lot of people will do is they will cross over into New Hampshire.
Right.
But
North
just
of
over
the border.
Yeah, just over the border. So it's like Hampton Beach.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Right? So they buy all their fireworks and then bring them back. So the police had like surveillance things set up.
Sting operation.
And I was kind of like, shouldn't you guys be catching murderers or something? Like,
Right. Rapists or,
yeah.
people who want to shoot other people for no reason.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So they ended up seizing $28,000 worth of fireworks.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. And 18 people were issued summons for the charge of illegal possession of fireworks. It's just crazy.
That is crazy. But I'll tell you what. Some trooper's family is going to have one hell of a 4th of July. That's all I know. I mean, it's Massachusetts. I tip my hat off to all the, emergency service people, police officers, fire, first responder people. They do a great job. But I could totally picture that. If I had $20,000 worth of fireworks, you think I'm going to waste them? I'm going to bring them to your dad.
Heck no.
I'm going to bring them right to Bob. Bob,
Bring it to Bob.
Bob, I need
Bob's
you
got
to
it.
do something with these.
What I learned with that, right, for that whole story, is that I always thought that sparklers were legal. Because I did that as a kid.
They're illegal.
And I found out I'm a criminal.
That's right.
Because I did this as a kid.
Yeah.
And they're illegal because apparently they burn hot enough to melt glass.
Yes, they do.
And
They're
I did
very
not know
dangerous.
That. And I did not know that.
Very dangerous. Yeah, I saw a kid put one through like a beer bottle one time.
Really?
Yeah, it melts glass, like you said. It's hot enough to melt glass. That thing gets really, really hot.
Well, I remember I got, the stuff, because it's a sparkler, so the little...
Right. The embers or whatever.
Embers, whatever you want to call it. It had fallen on my hand. I was like, ah!
Molten sparks of death.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
Sparks of death. Yes.
I'm dying. What happened? I got hung up on a sparkler during the 4th of July weekend, kid. Oh, man.
Yeah. I got scars.
So that's good. That's good local news. And we got some, what do we got next? Crime clips, too?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do crime clips.
Stupid criminal segment. Here we go.
Yeah, I love this. I'm sorry, folks. I absolutely love this. This is very informative. It tells me exactly what not to do.
What not to do.
Right.
I'd hate for it to be looked at that way, but that's okay.
That's okay.
So we're gonna call this one "Just Hanging Around."
A 32-year-old man was jailed for 3 years when he was found hanging upside down from a window after trying to break into a terrace house in Kent. Having been caught hanging literally upside down from the window of the house he was attempting to break into, he was left with little choice but to admit his crime and take his punishment on the chin.
Oh, Jesus. That's ridiculous.
Can you imagine that, getting hung up on like a nail and you're just hanging there?
I know. Never mind life in general. Everyone's hung up on life in some way. Never mind a window.
I'm hung up on life as well.
That's just awful.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Stupid criminal.
That really is stupid. Oh, God. All right. Let's see.
Indeed.
Yes. So, this is a little segment we call Ma Knows Best. Hi, Ma. It's me. Love you. So now that the prednisone parade has ended officially, and things are starting to wind down in the domicile, we've actually moved on to a skill that I thought I would never get the experience of learning, and I'm gonna say, what was it, last week, week before, something like that. I think I told you about this last week. So, in the retirement community, there's one big mailbox location thing with all the separate slots and stuff. It's like a meeting place for geriatrics to go swap stories and
It's the water cooler.
right. It's the water cooler and coupons and you can sign up.
I got some coupons.
You can sign up. I got some coupons. You can sign up for bingo. So I'm
At
thinking
the mailbox?
at the mailbox, like
Okay.
it's like the size of a good sized shed, and it's got those stand up little mailboxes for each section of the retirement community. So there's a gentleman that was all upset about being confronted by a woman who works for the retirement community, and Ma's standing there with this other gentleman from the retirement community, and the guy happens to turn to my mom and say, because now this woman, and then I guess you would call this guy this client or house owner, whatever, property owner, was yelling at this poor woman. And my mother's standing there next to this other guy. And the guy turns to her. And my mother looks at the lady and goes, you know what? You should run. You should run. So I guess that's mailbox etiquette 101. And you don't want to get caught up in a squirt gun drive-by in a retirement community at the mailbox area.
Someone's going to spike the Bengay.
That's right. It's brutal. Yeah. They will take you down. Cottonhead Patrol. Whip that ass. So yeah, that's Ma knows best, especially when it comes to mailbox etiquette. If there's any confrontations around your mailbox in your retirement community, just run.
Just run.
Get yourself the hell out of there.
Read the room.
Read the room.
Read the room.
So,
when it's, you gotta know when to
hold. First, what was that? What's the new phrase I came out with last week? I was like, first I'm gonna tell you, then I'm gonna show you. I love it. I don't know why. It's just sticking in my head. I don't know. So yeah, that's definitely Ma knows best. So if you need some pointers on any mailbox etiquette or how to interact properly with your U.S. postal worker, just give us a shout. And I will get to Ma and get those mailbox etiquette questions answered for you.
All your mailbox etiquette questions.
That's right. She's so cute though, because every time a bill comes, it gets paid right away and then taken out of the checkbook right away. So a little side note, she finally, because I'm not good with math, as you know, especially with checkbooks and stuff. And she finally brought it to the bank and they did it for her, and she was all happy. And now every three transactions, I take it out myself. I'm so proud. So yeah, that's Ma knows best for this week.
Jay does that too. He thinks like, when the bill comes, I gotta pay this.
Right,
it's like there's a due date on there.
There is a due date, and it doesn't grow legs usually. You just leave that on the table and wait for the next one, and then that's a good way to recycle them. You stack up all your bills, okay, folks, into one big pile, and then at the end of the month, then you put them all in the recycle bin and don't pay them. Okay, good. All right, so
Jay, I work from home. Except for the one Wednesday I have to go in a month now.
Oh, Tara's big one Wednesday extravaganza.
Yeah. But so I'm obviously home, and when the mail comes, I don't deal with it because Jay gets such a joy out of going to get the mail.
Are you kidding me? That is so freaking cute.
He loves it. So I mean, unless there's a package that's in front of the door or something.
Oh, he's salivating at that point, right?
I'll bring it in, but I'll leave it near the door so that he can still get the pleasure of like, a package.
It's my snack box.
No, usually it's a radio, some sort of radio-related item.
Right.
He was so mad yesterday. He came home because the postal worker had like rang the bell, but it was like a ring and ditch. Like they rang the bell and then ran.
But he didn't get his package?
And they just put like a note on the thing like, we tried.
No, they didn't.
We tried. Yes.
No, they didn't.
Yes, so he got home.
30 seconds? No. Mm-mm.
And I had the little note. It was so sad because I heard it and I went out to the thing.
It was so sad.
It was sad because I went out to I opened up the door and and I saw the mail truck driving away, and I looked to my left, and there's the note, and I went, no!
No! So,
I'm here! Come back!
so was it a ham radio piece of equipment he was waiting on?
It's some sort of radio thing. So he was hemming and hawing yesterday because...
I want my shit!
I love that expression, by the way. I got that from my dad.
Hemming and hawing.
I got that from my dad. Don't be over there hemming and hawing. So he's hemming and hawing because he doesn't believe... He's like, in this day and age, why should you have to sign for a package?
Exactly. You don't have to sign for Amazon.
I know, they just ditch.
Right.
But getting the mail is a big pleasure for him, so I just let him get it.
That's so cute. Yukon Cornelius is trotting out to the mailbox. Silver.
And
nothing.
Yeah. He especially hates, because during the week, it'll come at, between 9 and 10.
Mm.
And on the weekends, sometimes it doesn't come until, 3. I don't know what lazy weekend person is.
Oh, exactly.
Is doing the mail, but they don't show up until, sometimes 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's, chomping at the bit, when is the mail coming?
And you know what? I find that is with a lot of people. Everybody I know. It's funny. It's you're in a rush to get something that you don't even want.
Yeah.
Where's the mail? I do the same thing. No one's sending me stuff except for bills I can't pay. Why am I in a rush? My ma still can't understand that. She's like, there's nothing in the mailbox for you. And then I'm all disappointed. And then when the bill comes, it just gives me something to rip up. So, but the timing is what I'm saying.
The red one.
Right. Oh, wait. Urgent.
Up, yeah.
Urgent. Emergency.
When I was younger, I used to wait to pay the excise tax.
Of course.
Until you get the one that says the
warrant.
Deputy is involved now.
Of collector of taxolas is coming for your car. Yeah, now I have to pay.
Now I have to pay.
I know a guy that got picked up on a warrant for not paying his excise tax.
I've never heard of anybody getting really.
Yep, the only person I've ever known that does that.
Wow.
Well, I'm not friends with him anymore. Are you kidding
really?
me?
He doesn't pay his excise tax.
How irresponsible is that? You're not paying your excise tax.
We won't have good roads if you don't pay.
We won't. It's unacceptable. You should be ashamed of yourself, John. I'm calling you later.
Get out of there.
That's right. All right, so let me lead into to this next segment. So this is our get the out of here segment. This one goes out to I'm gonna say all airlines worldwide. Ooh, I know that there is a huge shortage of employees, staff, etc., whatever. But if you look at the timeline of things, you have a lot of people who, throughout the pandemic, were able, hopefully, to put away, some money, and maybe, take the fam, or themselves on a trip. And there was something on the news last night where it's saying one of the airlines, I'm not going to say which one, was getting ready to strike again. And this being one of the busiest travel weekends of the year. So
they picked a good time. So
that's literally a perfect storm for people. There was a woman on the news this morning who had to reschedule a trip for her and her entire family to go to Italy 4 times. I would never wait that long for pizza. Ever. It's not happening. I want it now. But I feel so bad for these people. My cousin and his wife and their daughter just came out from Chicago somewhere, Detroit somewhere out there. And I don't think they had any problems traveling. And we have another family friend who did a direct flight from Logan out to LAX, and that went smoothly. But there's just people backed up everywhere, trapped. I mean, plus being trapped in an airport with those prices, you'll spend all your money that you saved for your vacation at any concession stand inside the airport. It'd be it'll be $20 for a pack of gum. Oh, well, thank you. That's just absolutely so this week's segment to all the airlines worldwide is please do your best to get your shit together All right, get these people on their planes and get them to where they have to go, and literally get it in the air and get the fuck out of here. Tweet, tweet.
Tweet, tweet.
Tweet, tweet, baby.
I back in October,
Yes.
I went to England, and this was back when, like, I mean, a lot of the restrictions, if you're a passenger, have been lifted. Like,
Right.
they don't.
Right.
There's no mask mandate. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think they've lifted the what do you call that? The testing.
The COVID test, the rapid testing.
I think they may have done that, at least because when I went, I had to get a test before I got on the plane. I had a 3-day window to get a test when I landed in London, because that's the policy of that country.
Why, do they make different tests in Britain, or
No, they
different
just
type of COVID tests? Hello, get ready for your swab.
It's bloody nasty. No, it's just it was the country's COVID policy. It was if you were in the country, if you were going to be in the country for at least 5 to 6 days, you had to get a test 3 days into your visit.
Right.
And then if you were going to stay longer than that, it was like every, I don't know, 5 days you had to get a test.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and then I
that's
needed,
horrible.
The PCR test, which is a more
Right.
invasive test.
Oh, that's the brain buster.
Boom, yeah.
Yeah, that goes right
I
up
needed
there.
that to get back on the plane.
And they're trying to tell you to relax when you do that too. It's like,
You
no,
can't. You can't.
like, that's disgusting. Anyway.
So I was like, all right. So I was COVID tested 3 times
Oof.
in less than 5 days, and it was like, oh. But when I got to the airport, it was raining that day, that night, because we were flying out at night.
Right.
And they were like, okay, well, and I've never ever had this happen before. But the I don't know who you call it, the airline representative, whatever, came over the thing and said that they were going to be leaving early because they wanted to get ahead of the weather.
Okay.
So they were like, we're going to be boarding shortly. The plane took off like 2 hours. Maybe not 2 hours, but at least an hour ahead of schedule.
That's pretty good, man.
And I was like,
gotta
damn.
say.
But it screwed me over because I know it's like something normal that would be good is bad for
It's
me.
so bad.
This is inconvenient for me.
I'm early. This is horrible.
So we landed, but we landed early. So it was like I had a whole thing planned.
An itinerary.
Yeah. And it was like
Itinerary.
we couldn't check into the hotel till a certain time.
Right.
So it was like
Wait.
We had
What about
nothing to
early
do.
check-in? You can do early check-in, right? Did you
they
call
weren't.
it?
They were not prepared for that.
They weren't?
No.
Oh.
So anyway, we finally get on the plane, and there's nobody on the plane. There's like us. There's me and Jay, a lady ahead of us, and like 2 or 3 scattered people.
Did you get first class?
I got what do they call it? It's like first
Economy?
class. No, not economy. But
No,
what
not
do you think I am, a peasant?
right. Not
Get outta here.
Satan seating.
No, not the Satan seats.
Right.
It was. They call it like World Traveler or something fancy.
Right.
To make you feel good.
Typical loser that just got enough money scraped up for this ticket.
Yeah, the tickets were friggin'. The tickets cost more than the hotel.
Probably.
I was like, what the hell?
Doesn't sound like a very nice hotel anyway, so.
Oh, it was. You know what? It was what do you call that? The like the 5-star hotel.
The 5-star
Yeah,
non-early
I never-
check-in
I know.
hotel.
Here's the thing too. It surprised the shit out of me. So we walk in, and I want to get ahead of the story, but we walk in, and they were all French. And I'm like, did we land in France?
Well,
How are you-
Quebec? Where were you? They
I was
were all
in
French?
London.
You were in London, and they
Yes.
were all speaking French.
And they were the entire hotel was French. I'm like, this is weird. and I
So it
don't
was like
it.
British, French, and British, and
Yeah. Well, no,
flying
they
everywhere.
they were French.
right.
So we were sitting there because we had to wait. It was going to be a couple hours before we could check into our room.
Of course.
And I think they finally got tired of having us hanging around the lobby.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, you can go.
Right.
But I had to go to the bathroom, so I walked up. And I know all of the slang for, the loo, the water closet,
Right.
the toilet, da da da.
Right.
So I decided to go with restroom because this is a fancy place. So I'm like, I'll use restroom. So I walk up to the maitre d', I don't know what the maitre d',
Concierge.
the concierge, yeah.
Concierge.
And I go, excuse me,
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
can you tell me where the restroom is? And the guy looks at me and goes, across the street. And I went, why is your bathroom across the street? And he goes, restaurant? And I went, no, jerk! Restroom!
Restroom. Did you rest?
Oh. Actually, it was a very nice restroom.
Really?
Very nice, yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
I
for
mean,
you.
I wasn't,
You got to have a
I
nice.
didn't take a nap or anything.
No, not a complete
It's very
rest.
nice. It was very nice. It didn't have the gap in the door.
No
All
gap
the ladies
in the door.
know what I'm talking about.
That's
the gap
right.
in the door.
That's
you
right.
hate that.
Look at that eyeball.
Yeah, I know.
Blink, blink, blink.
But anyway, I want to go backwards just a little bit.
I love
so the
going
plane was
backwards.
just about empty.
Okay, empty plane.
So it
just
was
about.
British Air, by the way.
Yes.
So the flight attendant, it was a nice guy. He comes down the thing and he goes, hey. I know, that's how you want a conversation.
What's up?
He said, hey. So he goes, hey, the flight is just about empty. He's like, if you want to wander around.
About the
Feel
cabin
free.
and such.
I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to play badminton in
Right.
the
We got digging all the. What am I go back and dig in the economy class for like pennies and stuff? Come on.
But he goes, well, you can stretch out if you want to. And I'm like, and so I looked at
Where?
Jay. Because all the seats were open.
Mm.
So he's like, you can stretch out if you want to. I'm like, do these armrests go up? Because I could lay across and
That's
be
good.
happy with that.
Yeah. Well, you got any window seat you wanted. You know.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That was alright, but I've never had a plane take off like an hour early before.
Me neither.
And I've never been told I can wander around the cabin.
Yeah, I know, right? Seems like it would be a safety issue, but if you and Jay are the only ones on the plane, then
Just about. There was a lady ahead of us, seated ahead of us, and he didn't tell her she could stretch out.
no.
So he must not like her. But
you get nothing.
yeah.
No stretching
But
for you.
she's ahead. I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but she was ahead of us, and there's little screens up like you could watch TV.
Mm.
I don't know what she was watching, but Jay and I are at least 70% sure she was watching some sort of pornographic film.
Oh my goodness. So was she an old woman?
No,
Like,
no. I mean, she was
not that it matters.
If I had to render a guess, I'd say her 50s.
in her 50s?
At least, yeah.
Do you know what kind she was watching? Anything good? Well, I don't know. It's just funny to me.
specifically, I don't
It's funny to
know.
me. She's like, did she talk? Did you converse with her at all? Like,
No.
I could
no.
see her turning around and be like, "Could you please keep it down?
She
I'm
wasn't-
trying to watch porn."
She was British, too. Because the flight crew was kind of like trying to make, small talk or whatever, and she...
Right.
So they're like, oh, is this business or pleasure? And she's like, oh, I'm headed home.
I'm headed home. It's both.
Hmm.
Bring me a bag of nuts while I watch my porn.
So meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, my pleasure is none of your business.
That's awesome.
No.
You're great.
You're great. Am I, though?
Yeah, you really are. Really. Oh, look. There's a note at the bottom of this script thing. It says, "Good luck. You're both doing great and getting funnier every
Adorable.
time. I love it." Guess who this is from? Ma.
I won't. Yep.
It's from my mom.
Did she write that at the mailbox?
Yeah, she hasn't subscribed to the channel yet. What a bitch. Huh? Come on, Ma. Let's go. Okay, so a quick question, okay? How would
ready.
you feel about putting a question out to our viewing and listening audience? This just hit me last night, and it's kind of dumb, but that's why I'm going to say it.
Okay.
So, since the beginning of what they call dummy lights in a vehicle, when is a
Dummy
door
lights.
not a door? When it's ajar, meaning it's open.
Okay.
So how come all the dummy lights don't say door, just door open? Why do they have to use that word ajar?
I don't know. To be fancy?
That's the question. Yeah, maybe to be fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Because a jar is like a glass jar, a mason jar, something you put nails in.
That phrasing always kind of bothered me too. It's like the door is ajar. It's like, can't
Right.
you just say it's open?
And then you got that dad joke. When is a door not a door? When it's a jar. It's like,
No.
no. So, last night, hot dogs for dinner, and was asked, by a friend of mine if I wanted a fully dressed bun. Which when I have hot dogs, I do one with just mustard and one with all the fixings. Well, it's 4th of July, so you know.
How do you want your bun?
How do you
dressed?
Dressed, formally.
Yeah.
So
Formally dressed.
So I go to the kitchen, and as soon as I was asked this question, I just, for some reason, it just came over me to just act like a 1980s WWF wrestler with my responses. Like, we had corn on the cob too. Like, do you want an ear of corn on the cob? I'm like, absolutely. I'm gonna come for that and take it.
It's like the Ultimate Warrior.
I know.
Or something.
That's right. So it was just.
When I get you in the plate.
Yeah. When I get you on the plate, your ass is mine. So I'm thinking about stretching that out for the rest of the weekend just to amuse myself.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta amuse yourself.
You have to.
Know?
You have to. And
that's what it's about.
And I'd also like to share kind of like a serious, touching, funny story. So last night.
Am I gonna cry?
I hope so.
Thanks.
Big
Shed
baby.
tears.
Big
Shed
baby.
tears.
Shed them. So last night I'm in my space, and you know, I'm getting a little emotional. You know, for some reason I'm getting a little emojis. You know, emojis. And,
in your emotions.
Yeah, in my emojis, and you know, I'm shedding a couple tears and stuff. You know, because I'm depressed, right? That's why I'm crying. It's okay to be depressed sometimes, and
It is.
I'm also listening to this, of course, YouTube, because we love YouTube. This music station, and like, bam, bam. That's how this whole thing started. Just start bawling, like, not like sobbing, like, oh my god, like that was probably earlier in the day. But this is like a pre-sob. I'm gonna call this a like pre-sobbing.
Okay.
You know, so
sobbing.
So listen, I'm reaching for the tissues, but I'm blinded from all the tears, right? So then I had a lot of water in my eyes. So now I'm using both of my hands to kind of find my way to the tissue box. Yeah. And all of a sudden my eyes start to sting. And I'm like, okay, crying shouldn't hurt this much. Like, I understand, but I kind of...
My tears are pain.
My tears are pain. Welcome to the Basement Show. The only show where we are going to make absolute fun of all your pain and tears. At a discount with a coupon. A coupon!
My tears are
My coupon!
pain. I need a coupon.
So, come to find out, before I took my slumber, I decided to use these really nice Dollar Tree. They have all these quirky things you can get in the cosmetics aisle. So I got these little clear type of like push-on dots that are like, it's got the acne treatment on it. So when you wake up, I look like less of a pepperoni pizza. So come to find out that because my tears got on the things and then loosened the little, you know, zit sticks.
Zit stickers.
Then I put my fingers to wipe away the tears, and that's why I ended up in pain. So, so I was thinking this morning what would be said by Ma to me. I kind of made it up, and I can see her saying, "It's plain to see that them eyeballs will have no acne." Well, at least you don't have zits on your eyeball. What the fuck? Like, really, Ma? Really? We have to be that positive about everything? Anyway. You know, it's a story for another time. Just figure out why they call it door job, people, okay? Because I'm getting pissed. Yeah. And what did I say to you the other day? Like, about the cookout? You could say it like I said it. That was pretty funny.
Oh, you want me to say that?
Yeah, I was fun. All right, here's the thing, okay?
I've been saying it for 3 days.
But now
you said it to me.
But now it's even funny to me. So, the weather here is going to suck. So there's a really kind of like 2-3 hour window supposedly of good weather that's coming. So we've got to be at Auntie's by a certain time, and I'm kind of not. It's not like I don't want to see my family. I do. I want to see all these people. I love these people. Even the people they're just friends I haven't met yet. Even the ones I don't know. That's great.
Jesus.
But that being said, is is the fact that
Yes.
that it's 4th of July weekend, and I'm a little anxious. I'm a little anxious about.
Why anxious?
Well, what if I suck at cornhole? What if I suck at horseshoes? What if, and like my aunt would say, if ifs and buts were fruits and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas.
You're over there hemming and hawing.
Hemming and hawing over the celebration. So my biggest fear is just I don't want to get caught out in like some type of storm.
Yeah.
But we're going to have tents and all types of stuff. I'm hoping we have a bouncy house. I'm thinking though. I'm praying that we have a bouncy house. But
the tent will serve you well, I think, provided as long as we don't get like a huge downpour.
Right. Which we probably will.
I don't know. I know it's supposed to. There's supposed to be more thunder. I like thunderstorms. So
I do too. I just don't like them when they like physically push me out of bed. You know.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be forced by a storm. Okay. I want to control the weather. All right.
Yeah, it's the thing like with snow, because I don't mind snow. It's just
Don't say that.
No, I don't. I don't
Snow
mind
sucks.
snow. It's just that
You and snow don't mix. What about what winter or what? Pick a winter that you didn't do a complete epic wipeout on the front porch of your parents. Remember the day of the sled?
Yes.
That was horrible. Tell it real quick.
Real quick.
Hit him off with it real quick. This one's good. It's so freaking good.
Actually, there wasn't even snow involved. It was just winter. So I went, it was December, it was like 2 days before Christmas Eve, I think.
That's right.
And I was walking, I had parked so I had to walk across my parents' porch, and there were 2 steps, and then around the corner right was my car. So I went walking across the thing, and my mother had these Christmas decorations.
Beautiful,
and
by the way.
Unfortunately, I've always been a klutzy kid. And I'm a klutzy adult. And
yes, accurate.
And I went walking across the thing, and I didn't notice that there was a sled, and it had the little what do you call that? The track, the little track of the.
You mean like the blade?
Yeah.
The actual sharp blade? Yes.
Yeah, and it was kind of like poking up, and I tripped over it. The thing that sucks about that is not only did I trip, but I hit the mailbox on the way down because my parents have this mailbox on their porch.
Right.
And I hit the ground while I hit the porch. And when I woke up, it's like my glasses had cut my face.
I remember that.
And I think I had a busted lip, but I had fractured my arm.
That's right, yeah.
But I didn't know my arm was fractured. I was just in a lot of pain. These tears mean pain. So
let me laugh at them.
What I was actually on the way to, I was on the way to a comedy club. With my friend Joe, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go to the comedy club anyway because I had tickets.
Right.
So I went to the comedy club. As a comedian called Gary Gulman, and I was like, I wanted to see it, so I went to the show, sat through the entire show. I mean, once the show starts, you can focus on something else. So, and I was like, I had my jacket on. I was literally just like holding my jacket so that my arm was in one place like this.
That's awesome.
The whole time. And when the show was over, I went back home, and then I went to the hospital. And then they said everything was fine and go home. So I went home, and then the next day they called me and they were like, there's a problem, you have to come back to the hospital. So I went back to the hospital, and they were like, yeah, it turns out your arm was fractured. We didn't...
They had to re-break
they
it,
read
right?
No. But they put it in a thing, and they put it in a sling, and they're like, don't move it. And I'm like, that's a severe contrast to what you told me yesterday, because the guy's like, yeah, it's fine. Just go home and sleep.
You lean in, you're like, I wish you weren't a liar. Stupid x-ray guy.
But I had written it because Gary he's much more popular now. He was in the movie The Joker, actually.
Right.
And at that time,
I liked him in that.
He would sign stuff after the show. And you could meet him and stuff. And I was in too much pain. I had to go. So
Sorry,
I wrote
Gary.
to him. And I was like, Gary, I wanted to say hi after the show. I was like, and then I explained what happened. I was like, my arm was fractured. I had to go.
Right.
And he was like, what? And then he said, he's like, well, thanks for coming. He goes, I have to send you something.
That's cool.
So he sent me
That
like a
is awesome.
signed photo.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool of him.
How did he, that's pretty cool because think about that. Like if you're the celebrity or the comic, like
Yeah.
someone actually came to see my show, like I'm this funny that people will come with broken limbs to see me.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that story. Didn't you
it's
lose
fucking
like a
nice.
can of vanilla Coke in the process too during this fall?
Oh.
It rolled down the driveway. That's right. That's
It
the best
was-
part.
it
And you're
was
like,
like
oh,
a-
my vanilla Coke, no.
It was a can of, it might have been Pepsi or something, but I hit the ground and I look up and my can is just slowly rolling across the porch.
I'm kicking my can down the road.
Yeah. I was like, man, why you gotta be like that? Why gravity gotta happen?
Oh, all right.
That's
What
rude.
else? What else do we got? We're actually doing pretty good.
Are we?
Actually.
Good.
Yeah, we're right on someone else's schedule that's not us.
Someone else.
So we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have a? What else we got on the list? We got short stories. We got anything else?
Well, I just told you a short story.
Well, I wasn't all that happy with it. I want more. You know, we want from me. No, that's good. So anything else to report? Please like, share, and subscribe. Right. Share this with your peeps, and stay safe this weekend. Okay.
Excuse me.
Don't drink and drive in a thunderstorm. All right. Just be cool.
Be cool, man. Just be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and do something nice for somebody else. That'll be
Okay.
our exit statement. Try and do something nice for someone else. You don't know what someone's
Brian.
going through. You
know
don't.
what?
You don't.
I have, as you say that, I actually have a good news segment.
You do?
Yes, that does that exact thing.
Well, let's go blackjack and hit me.
So this young boy was riding his bike with his friends, right?
Okay.
And suddenly his bike, like, he goes right into a parked car. And he wasn't aiming for the car, he wasn't trying to. What had happened was the brakes on the bike were broke, but he wanted to keep riding it so he could still play outside with his friends.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I assume he was doing the Flintstone stop.
Yes. Correct. Correct. Both legs off the
Yep.
pegs, down on the ground.
So after hitting the car, the kid was like, oh my god, that the angry owner would come outside and yell at him. But what happened was, the guy came outside and he saw what happened, and he realized that the bike had no brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid was like, oh, I'm very sorry, you know, my bike doesn't have brakes. And he's like, you know, it's okay, accidents happen. So he forgave the kid, and then he went and bought him a brand new bike.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I actually thought you got that story from, something you saw me do, because
Did you hit a car?
growing up in Brockton in my old neighborhood, this is when everyone played outside as a kid, and we all had bikes, and I'm coming down the hill, down the street, and I just got this bike, and the brakes were actually good on it. They were so good that when I was going down the hill and I hit the sand and then I hit the brake,
Oh, sand and bikes don't mix, man.
my head hit the parked vehicle. So that was like an hour and a half of getting gravel taken out of my shins and stuff
boy.
like that.
Yikes.
But I got McDonald's that day.
But that wasn't the bike, it sounds like it was operator error.
Oh, definitely. Look at me. Of course it was. Folks at home, wear bike helmets. No, that's a safety
That
message
really
too.
wasn't pushed when we were kids.
No, God
Bike
no.
helmets.
Because you
Nobody
learned
was
how to
like,
fall.
"Ooh."
You knew how to fall. Well, I didn't.
I learned to stay away from sand.
Right. Stay
That's
away
like-
from sand and
That's
parked
horrible.
vehicles.
What is
That-
that about sand that makes the tire on the bike go like?
Well, because it's the grade. It's uneven. Plus, it's New England. There's salt and everything, and it rots everything. But
It's
won't.
rotten.
It's rotten.
Rotten.
We won't get into that now. So,
Okay, physics.
So what are you doing this weekend? You going to mom and dad's maybe?
I'm doing that Sunday.
Couple Roman candle fireworks.
I'm
Piss
doing
off
that
the
Sunday,
neighbors.
and I don't have any fireworks to play with, so.
Oh, maybe you should get yourself north of the border. Stop by a Stadie's house.
I
see
would
if
be
you can
afraid
get yourself
to,
some
yeah.
fireworks. Oh,
That's the
God.
only way I'm gonna get any.
That's right. So yeah, be safe, and if you see anyone wiping out into a parked vehicle, go out and buy him a goddamn bike. All right.
Buy him a bike. If you have the means.
If you have the means.
Not everybody has the means.
Right. So with that, we love you. I love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you.
All right. And everybody, we will see you in a couple of weeks. And hopefully, pray to God, we get more than 15 views in 7 days.
I hope it can pause.
Yes, I hope it paused. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Basement Show. We're glad you came here to listen to us. And yeah, have a great 4th of July weekend. Go America. Love you. Bye. Yes. Yes.